Oh, I'm already recording. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Boom.
Video on.
It did. I know, right? Look at that. Oh, that was a big one too.
That's going on the internet, Brennan. You're
Good.
over. Your reputation is ruined.
It'll be fit right in with my overall brand.
Now, I gotta try and figure out how to make this damn thing work.
You're in Spain.
Ah, I'm in Spain.
Congratulations. You did it. It only took you like 4 years.
Ah, more like six, but hey, whatever.
Who's counting?
Well, I wanted to go for a long time, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to go. So, like,
Sure.
you know, administrative and bureaucratic factors holding us back. So as soon as it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
feasible to
yeah.
go, we actually started taking it seriously. But it's good. We're here. We made it.
That's awesome.
We're
How is it?
alive. It's pretty good. Sun shining.
Yeah. Are you Valencia area?
Yeah, close.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Nice. Love it. That's
You are
good.
you
Well,
in
I'll
Spain right now,
definitely.
or were you here just a few weeks ago?
No, I was there a few weeks ago. I was in San Sebastian, so
Now,
northern
are
Spain.
there two? Are there two San Sebastians, or is there just one?
Yeah, technically, I don't. The other one I think is near Madrid. I think so. This is the San Donostia or whatever, which is the
Yeah, I
north
was
one.
there.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. I
yeah.
love
Did you?
this.
How stunning is that, right?
The beach, the big horseshoe beach and seafront and all the
Yeah,
like
the
beautiful
the
architecture. It's
conches. Yeah, I
awesome.
love it. I love it. Yeah, I was quite pleased actually. So that was for a long time my like number one favorite place I'd ever visited. That in Edinburgh, basically. And I was curious this trip recently. I was like, I wonder how I'd feel about San Sebastian now. And so I was like, stuff it. I'm just gonna go back and check it out. So I was there for about a week, which was really fun.
Yeah, we only got to spend a night there, but we stayed in this funny little old hotel. It said 4 stars, but like I'm guessing they got their 4 stars in the 80s, and haven't really done much
Yeah, true.
since.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But it was fun just because it was like up this tiny little mountain road with all these like little switchbacks and a couple of hairpin bends, which is fun to
Yeah,
drive
yeah,
to.
sick. Okay, cool.
And
Yeah,
just
that's on the
beautiful
left
views.
side. Hey, on the left side of the beach, like from the beaches, right? So the beach facing out.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. No, I walked over there. I had a friend that was staying over there, so I walked over there once. This is cool. I didn't spend any time during the day over there though, but
I just enjoyed it so much. But we're just waffling on now about we're just oh, you here? Are you gone? You'll be back momentarily. We might trim this bit out. Ah, you're
oh, I'm here,
back.
mate. Yeah, I didn't even know we started. Hello. Yeah, I've been back, right? I never left. Where you been? Yeah,
I don't
nah,
know.
that's okay.
It's funny. But yeah, we're just
Mhm.
yapping about the place we've been, which is probably quite boring for the people. Why don't we tell
Yeah,
everybody about
we
who you are and what do you do?
cool. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that we were. Are we actually live right now? If so, I'm sorry
No,
for people watching
no,
this.
we're not
Okay, cool,
live. We just
good.
I was
Okay,
gonna do live, but I just wasn't set up properly. So, but we do a
no,
rolling
that's all
start.
right.
I don't
No
really edit
worries.
stuff.
Okay.
I just throw it up on the internet and see what happens.
Yeah, that's all good. Cool. Yeah, well, maybe I'm sorry. I would definitely not have started with all that. So if you want to like trim it up to here, that'd be
No,
awesome. Just do
no,
the big yawn.
people have to tolerate
I'll
all my
redo
crap
it.
if they want to watch my stuff.
Okay,
That's how it
gotcha.
is.
Cool. Okay, sweet. So yeah, I feel really bad. Sorry, all viewers. Um, this is how do I talk about myself? So I have just hit about 8 years now working in the marketing space, like the online marketing space. Been
Yes.
on a journey, still on the journey. Started with a Google search that led me to copywriting. Then I got into email marketing, and then most recently, for about 2 years, was head of marketing for a high ticket coaching business growth offer. So that's been me up to date, I guess. I'm happy to answer any more questions or go into more details
Okay.
if you want to.
Well, just to start out, you and me collaborated on something a couple of years ago. You created a course about email marketing, and I made a little
Yeah, dude.
module for us. And
Yeah.
that hung around for a long time, and like plenty of people over the years have reached out and said, "Hey, I really enjoyed that course, and I like the video you made for Brennan." And that's been really good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Literally, I mean, you've seen it before, but I've had plenty of people say that like you were either the reason that they bought it or yours was the favorite bit of the whole program, which speaks obviously um to I guess to two things, like the need and the desire that people have to be properly equipped to solve certain problems and your ability to help solve said problem, which is really the basis of what we do in marketing.
How did you get to making that course? And because that's what kind of got you a bit more like exposure, and people started knowing who you are and built
Yeah,
your
no,
profile, right?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like creating the course was kind of the impetus. I was also doing a podcast around the same time, like this, similar. So that helped. But yeah, um, look, this is the thing, and this is interesting. Like most people don't know this, but I actually created the base of the program, and I'll just tell them for context. This was an e-commerce email marketing basics kind of course. Had like tried and true email marketing tactics, so it wasn't exclusively for ecom, but I was working with ecom businesses at the time primarily, so it was from that bent. And I actually had teamed up with one guy to create my own subscription offer in email marketing. So I created that core, the some of the core lessons for that course. It was like five or six of them, and ran through my mate's business outbound LinkedIn DMs to promote this subscription thing that was like $20 a month. So this is
Mm-hmm.
when like subscription companies never got anywhere with it, even though I offered like I'm pretty sure I had a free trial or anything. Nothing ever took. And I didn't like. I'm not really a cold outreach. I'm not anti cold outreach per se, but I definitely was not a big fan of like the automated, especially like face, on a or social platform. Um, so pulled that kind of quickly after 4 weeks because I never got anywhere with it, and just shelved the courses actually for about a year, actually almost. And
Mm-hmm.
then literally a year later, I saw that there was a growing need and interest in email marketing, like list management stuff is kind of maybe people now think about it from Troy. I was kind of like a contemporary of Troy in the earlier days. And I was like, I have this resource. I really, regardless of whether or not this does anything revenue wise, I really would love to just complete something to help equip people that are early phases. Because really, email marketing, I mean, finding freelancing, yeah, but like email marketing is what gave me a life in a future, like as a freelancer, basically offering that service. And that's what allowed me to build out my own career, basically. And I'll never, for like I'll never forget working in a call center for like $11 an hour with two bachelor's degrees. And so for me, even just making $5,000 a month working completely remote, that's life changing for a lot of people, frankly.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely
And
is.
that's especially where I come from, where like even getting a full-time job at the supermarket is kind of a big deal, frankly. So you have people that's doing that. So then to try and equip people with the best I could with my limited knowledge and experience with something to hopefully give them a shot at building something. I really was like, I don't know, I just had a desire to do it. So I launched it, and fortunately, I guess just kind of over delivered really, and undersold, like underpriced it. when I launched, it was like $97 for a little while, then bumped it up to 197, which is just really affordable for what it was. And I just blew up because it was one of the earlier kind of more walkthrough based trainings to where like um, I didn't just teach concepts. I actually told them what to do straight up so they could replicate it with their own clients, basically.
You had good timing too, because you sold that
Yeah.
course when COVID happened, and a lot of people were like, "Oh shit, I need to make some money because I just
Yeah.
got laid off my job. I need to figure out a new skill to make some money." It was great timing.
Yep. Yeah, it did. I did get lucky there. So it's pretty cool because like all up, I've never run ads to any of that. And like just organically over the years with my own trainings and stuff, I'm up to like 30 plus grand that I've made just from like promoting on Facebook, basically, like these lower ticket trainings.
It's
So,
awesome. The other benefit, and I mean, not even like that is like a substantial amount of money. I think, when you're in the world of like internet marketing, online marketing, you see a lot of people who make crazy amounts of money in short
sure.
periods of
Yeah.
time, or at least say they do. Some of them really do, and some of them are
Yeah.
probably kind of stretching the truth a little bit. But
Yeah.
you can easily lose perspective on what life-changing money actually means. But then when you like walk around in any local town and you see the things that people do to just about survive, even like, smart, educated, capable people, and it's not for want of like work ethic because they're all getting up and working their asses off and commuting every day,
Yeah.
not for want of intelligence. There's lots of educated people out there who don't make a lot of money. A lot of it is to do with, I think, not understanding that there are options for them that go beyond the sort of
Yeah.
school job corridor,
Yeah.
and not believing in themselves that they might be able to just like break free and do something
Sure.
different.
No, I agree. And look, I think I have a few thoughts here, but I think maintaining that real life perspective is one of the most valuable things that you can work to do, especially as you stay in this like business marketing industry more and more, because I just notice even in my own life, I am far from successful as far as like what my bank account says, but as far as like compared to the majority of my peers,
Mhm.
I probably make more money for less hours worked than like most people that I went to uni with, frankly.
Mhm.
And I can do it completely remote. And also there is no fixedness to my income either. So like I can take on more work theoretically if I need to increase my to increase my intake. Whereas so many people are operating with like fixed, their life is really fixed. And like you're saying, it doesn't matter that they want or what they aspire to, they just lack of opportunity. And I find that a lot of marketers and business owners forget who they're marketing to, which is like real humans.
Yeah, the ordinary people in around most neighborhoods.
That's exactly right. Those are the people. And so you want to be compelling and persuasive. Like you need to be able to meet them where they're at in their context and in their circumstances with the limitations that they have as well. Because we just are like, take the order bump, but it's like, no, like that could be their groceries
Yeah,
or that
no,
could be
it's
their date night money. That could be like a lot of other things. Like it's not just that's not just numbers that for us a lot of people it's like we get paid in lump sum amounts of thousands of dollars. Most people don't.
yes, these things are all true. The other thing I think is that people don't really realize that it doesn't really take a lot to get free of a lot of the bullshit in life. Like the traditional
Yes.
routes for being successful are, okay, found a business, okay, which you can do. You can bootstrap it, you can work
Yep.
your ass off, you can build up a team. But a lot of those traditional business models require you being really strapped to one place for a long period of time. Um,
Sure. Yeah.
you can get a high paid job, you can grind it out through college, like get into medicine, get into law, and like just go for it and do quite well there as well. Make make plenty of money and maybe have a job that actually makes a difference if that's what
Yeah.
matters to you. But like those people, a lot of time when you meet them, they don't seem all that happy. It seems like they really are grinding their way through life. And like,
Yeah.
I'm not the hardest working person in the world, but I have an incredible
Yeah.
amount of freedom. Um,
Sure. No, that's great. Which to me, that frankly, this is the thing though. Like I'm I'm honestly going to point the finger more at the entrepreneurs because I meet a lot of entrepreneurs that aren't happy.
yeah,
And that's because you still like, you can't fix, you don't get inner peace from your job or from what you achieve. Like if you can't figure out how to have that independent of all of those variables, the variables can help, but they won't ever like fix that for you. And so a lot of entrepreneurs achieve out of a desire to try and like quiet that voice of like not being good enough or whatever, not because they want to actually build a life that they love.
yeah. I think that's one of the kind of dirty secrets about business and success is that a lot of the most successful people you meet have really horrible traumatic life histories and are operating not
Yeah.
from a desire to be super happy, but on a desire to like to kind of prove themselves in some weird way or to escape some kind of emotional pain that's still haunting them from 20 or 30 years ago.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. No, it's true.
That's the
And
price to
so
pay for being really successful. Not for everyone, but for a lot of people, it seems that way. That's the price they pay.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, hey, look, it drives them to that level a lot of the times. Like you'll never really find me grinding that hard because like I don't need to prove myself that much. But yeah, I don't know. You'll see that whenever we talk about these types of things, I'm always going to come back to like core human things because to me, that's the essence of all that we do because it's always humans. So I'm always constantly trying to understand the people, the human experience, where they're at, so that I can communicate with them better, which leads to more sales, but also help hopefully create things that add value or solutions to their lives as well.
So, so you did the email marketing course, and that kind of like raised your profile and got people to know about you.
Yeah,
But you were
yeah,
selling that course to beginners. Did you still find that even selling a course to beginners got you noticed by people at a more advanced level who wanted to hire you to help with their business too?
yeah, 100%. So this is one of my things. I think pretty much anyone that has been doing something for a minute, for a little while, like after they have genuine results, should start selling something. And my opinion of this is if you have two people that say that they're the best pizza chef in the world, but only one of them only cooks at home and one of them has a restaurant, who are you more likely to believe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The person with the restaurant. Like it doesn't matter if they are, it's a perception. The perception is this one is better because they have a business around it, because they have something around it. And it's the same principle. So I take a little bit of issue with Hormozy's recent thing where he's like, I focused on building a massive audience and I didn't get anything out of it. And I'm like, well, no, that's BS, man, because you now have like, we know how many applications you used to have for your program for acquisition, which was in the hundreds, and now it's in the thousands. And you can't say that like, because there is a level, and I saw this really with my old client, because I worked with a guy who was an organic growth specialist. And like
Mm-hmm.
he had founders that were way more successful than him reaching out because numbers are a version of credibility to people. And
Yes.
so attention still matters. It's still a currency. even if you don't monetize those eyeballs directly, it matters to other people that value eyeballs.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know that Hormozy said that. I think it's just like he's one of these people now. He's in front of a camera 24 hours a day, and he's expected to say stuff. So some stuff is
Yeah,
going to land wrong. But of course, he got a lot out of building his big audience. He got like
yeah,
quantity is also a form of quality. Like you say,
that is
people
it.
say, "Oh,
Yeah,
lots of people pay attention to Alex. Alex must be smart and important. We better pay attention
that's
to him too."
exactly right.
And it's a
That's exactly
cascade
right.
effect.
And then, frankly, like for me, I basically had an army of people that just would advocate, would refer me to stuff.
Hmm.
I haven't done email marketing like properly in over 2 years, and I still get referrals here and there for email marketing work because of my course. And
Yes.
that's just like people are like, Brennan, 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 because I just got known with email marketing. Now it's been a pain in the butt to try and like move away from that because now I'm doing more like fractional CMO type stuff
Hmm.
and consulting things. So I accidentally like, yeah, that's the danger of branding. I'm having to like fight against that, but it was definitely a valuable the payoff for releasing a simple course, frankly, and over delivering on that was exponential. And I really genuinely do owe most of my career like to that decision, basically.
Awesome. Now, in the last couple of years, you went to work with uh, a marketing company that teaches people how to build businesses on LinkedIn or how to build audiences on LinkedIn. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's a bit more holistic than that. It's more actually about how to monetize your expertise, really. So
Okay.
it's pretty full circle. So, but based off of organic audience growth. So that's the front end acquisition channel is organic.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's a actual how to how to build out an offer based off of your skills or whatever your experience. And there are like service providers and stuff as well in that also that have more of like an agency kind of setup as well. So that's who I was helping him. This guy called Matt Gray build that brand, Founder OS.
And you went into that business um, kind of kind of as a general marketer role, and you ended up being their CMO by the end of that period. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. So he brought me. I was working with him on one of his other brands in the email capacity.
Hmm.
And then he pulled me over to do help with this personal brand stuff. And within a few months, it became, well, it was just a small team, really. It was like three of us pretty much. So there was a lot that needed to happen from an actual marketing perspective. So I just took over I promoted myself without permission into a more senior kind of role. And then eventually he just acknowledged me as head of marketing, really. And then that was where I was at, basically.
What changed in how you looked at the work when you sort of created a new position for yourself? What was different?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing was I wanted more say in the overall strategy. So that's part of why I was transitioning out of email marketing to begin with, because I was constantly limited by, or maybe there's a better way to say this, like the business growth, the business's ability to grow and scale is directly correlated with the actual structure and setup of the business itself. And
Hmm.
so email as a channel can only scale to a certain level based off of other constraints that exist within the business, whether it's lead flow, whether it's what kind of ascension options they have, what quality of customer they're getting. And so I was constantly frustrated that with email marketing, my really only avenue for increasing their sales were to convert more people in the direct, like from in the first sale. Basically, it was like to convert more front end sales from the leads that they were getting in. That's basically my that was my main avenue of growth. And I was like, wait a second, like the money comes in a second and third sale, but these companies aren't even built to make a second or third sale logically. So it's just an ad spin game to where it's like, as long as the winds are favorable, you can get a 3x ROAS. But that's like, you're really playing a dangerous game there, because if you don't have if you're not able to resell your to your existing audience, you're constantly at the mercy of whatever your front end acquisition looks like, frankly.
A lot of marketers don't really care about that too much because they're not interested in building brands. Do you notice that when
Yeah.
you work with people who actually do care about building a brand, there's a different type of focus?
Yeah, I have seen that. That is the thing. And so this is another part that I didn't mention. So I worked with Athletic Greens, so AG1, for a while, about six
Hmm.
months. And the way they operate is totally different than many other companies, because they know that the brand matters and recurring matters. So those are their priorities. They're
Oh,
focused first on present, like they're focused a lot on presence, but then they're focused a lot on retention, frankly.
I lost you for about 20 seconds there, Brennan. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
okay, that's all right.
Your
No, that's
your your
okay.
audio disappeared.
Oh,
Um
sorry.
you said they focus on recurring. That was the last thing I heard, and then your audio
Oh yeah,
disappeared.
so their priorities are kind of like a prolific presence, and yeah, building out and maintaining the recurring revenue, because those that let that like if you have a prolific presence, then your acquisition costs go down, because you're already known and trust. Like, the trust is being built outside of maybe your direct dollars. Whereas a lot of companies that we maybe have interacted with, they're paying to try and build trust to then immediately make the sale off of that.
Yeah, I see this a lot, and it's funny. People have to do a lot of things to just get someone to trust them enough to spend money within the first, hour or two of being aware of their existence, which is where a
Exactly.
lot of the
Yeah.
direct marketing kind of industry is. And they have to do a lot of, frankly, pretty shady things. And
Yeah. Yeah.
they have to make unsustainable claims or make promises that not just that they can't fulfill on, that it's in a practical sense impossible to fulfill on. And so
Yeah.
tend to leave a trail of disappointed people behind them.
Correct. Yeah. Which is a terrible business strategy, frankly, because you're just always trying to outrun and hope those don't catch up to you. But they do. And market sophistication advances really fast, especially nowadays. Like, we watch, it's so funny watching like crime shows or shows from when just old movies when people commit crimes and it's in like the 90s. And it's like, this is so easy to get away with something because there was just no technology.
Yes. You
It's
could
like a
murder a
bank
lot of people
robber.
and nobody
You
noticed.
could more, yeah, they wouldn't know. But now, like, you can't get away with stuff like that anymore because everything is shared constantly. And so there's like a level of the what works today. If it comes to a tactic, it's gonna burn out. So what are the things that remain are core things, like actually having something valuable that contributes to someone's life.
Hmm. Of late, you decided to move away from working with the coaching businesses. And what direction have you
Yeah.
gone now? Which direction are you going in next?
Yeah, I'm still seeing exactly how that unfolds. Like, I really do still like the kind of CMO style role.
Hmm.
I am doing some consulting as well, which I really enjoy. But yeah, trying to move a bit more into the higher level strategy, less in the actual writing all of the copy. So with my old role, I was still the primary copywriter as well.
Hmm.
And it was quite a bit from a workload perspective to be a project manager and a strategist, and also the one responsible for writing the majority of the copy that we were using.
You had a big impact there, though, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty substantial, I'd say. At least that's what they tell me. So, I mean, the business grew from about 40 grand a month to over 600K months within about, I was about 20-ish months we did that. And we
That's
had some
amazing,
higher
man.
months than that. So, yeah. Now, honestly, I'd say I had more of a direct hand in the growth to around the 250, 300K mark, really. And then really everything past that was just dialing in sales and volume, frankly.
What what actually moved the needle in that early period?
Yeah, a couple of things. So we did like a monthly kind of conversion event. So it was a workshop that we ran each month that I created for him, for my client, and that funneled a bunch of their audience from social media to an email list. One month we had as many as like 5,000 people, which that we brought over. So totally, which is pretty amazing. And then yeah, we just we were doing about 80% of our revenue for a while through just this monthly workshop because it was how many quality leads that it would basically bring in.
So just
Um,
to clarify for people maybe who don't know, you were that was post on social media, getting people to sign up to attend a live event online. Is that correct?
yeah, live training basically. Uh-huh.
Okay. And from that live training, at the live training or afterwards, they were getting offered to purchase a program, a training course,
Yeah,
or
so
something
there
more
was
than
like a
that.
call to action really at the end. It was just basically an invitation to apply for the program. So essentially the way I designed it is that the trainings pulled directly from course material. So we just taught them things that we share within the program, but then, it's a 40-minute presentation. You can't cover a whole like 5 grand program in the 40-minute presentation.
Hmm.
So it just really it established a lot of trust and confidence, but also instilled a lot of FOMO, really, of wanting the whole thing.
So this was basically a demonstration of competence and then demonstration of the product inside the free training.
Yeah, that's literally what it was. I mean, that's the two main goals. I like to think of it as kind of, we are obsessed with watching, master chefs or woodworkers or blacksmiths or whatever, and like
Yeah.
we are amazed by competency and mastery, and it instills trust. It builds a high level of trust, which then makes the person more persuasive.
Yeah, it's so funny. Because just before we got on with you this evening, my son and daughter both love all these baking shows.
Yeah,
Like, and it's so
that's
funny
right.
because
Yeah.
like, there's not really an interest my son has otherwise. Is like his other things are all sports, but like he loves watching these shows where people are baking these really fancy cookies. I'm like, why do you watch this? And he's just like, I don't know, I just like it. I think
So
it's that mastery thing.
there's an evolutionary like bend to be drawn to mastery because it signifies an increased likelihood of survival, basically. So we intrinsically, and that's what I'm saying, like we intrinsically trust people that are masters more, even without knowing it, because subconsciously we're like, this is increases our likelihood of achieving of survival, basically, or achieving whatever our goal is. But now we live in a world to where, you can be a baking master, and that the like obsession or the subconscious trust of in mastery hasn't evolved fast enough to be able to differentiate per se that if that's like a useless skill.
It's fair. So you guys doing this thing, but you were driving all that traffic just from social media posts. Do you want to
Yeah,
just kind of talk about like your thoughts there on how you were able to do that to get that big volume of people to show up? Because getting people to show up for a live event is pretty hard. Like they have to remember the thing is on. You've got to send them a whole shit ton of notifications, emails,
yeah.
probably SMS too. But like just getting them to actually sign up to attend something these days is difficult. And without paid advertising, it gets even more difficult. So how are you doing that just off organic?
Yeah, well, the thing is that there was just such a high level of trust. So you have to think about, like, first of all, it's hard to get people to show up from paid because they don't know you. So why would they show up? You know, I rearrange essentially my schedule today for this call because I know you.
Yes.
And so I think I would say that a lot of people are missing, they're just not working with the reality of humans in their marketing. That's frankly what it is. It's like, why the heck should these people give a damn? Like, why, realistically? And so if you have a poor show up rate, in my opinion, that means that you haven't done the legwork needed to either build trust or convince them that it's worth their time to show up. And that is something that scales, that's not scalable from a rapid perspective as much. It's like, because trust isn't built overnight, and it's an act of consistency, but also frankly this is the reality. Like, because my client had a decent sized following on social media and was posting and was growing, there was a reality of like the guru effect. So it's like, whoa, there's this guy that I see, and now he's doing something that's private, that's intimate, that's one on one, where I can interact with him. Whoa, that's amazing. I want to be there.
Yeah. So it comes back to what we sort of talked about at the beginning with the idea of just actually doing something to grow an audience by itself is enough
Yeah,
to create a perception of mastery, even if your only form
that's
of mastery is the
exactly right.
mastery of building an audience.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And so, yeah, we all have people that we follow that if they were like, if they gave us a personalized invitation to something, we would show up.
Yes.
And so, leverage, like, think about how you can do that for your audience. Like, how can you make it something that they want to be at? And I think the way you do that, frankly, is just actually put together something that you're proud to share with them. Frankly, I think a lot of people don't. Um, Let me rephrase it. How do I say this? I think you can more genuinely market something that you know is actually helpful.
Yeah, it's fair. I know some people who've done very well from marketing things that maybe the products aren't the best and they're not, extremely proud of. And it's
Sure.
interesting.
Yeah.
In those instances, you often find that they really want to do something else outside of their main money making product, something that's more just for like something, basically something that they can talk about publicly or they can share because they want something that other people will recognize. Like they want the
Yeah.
clout and status that comes with having something cool, even if that other thing isn't really a money maker for them, just so they can point to it, where the real money maker might be
Well,
made
yeah,
somewhere
that's
else.
right. Hey. But the thing is, what's crazy is that's the thing with exponential growth because there's actual longevity and staying power, and your people are like, but I can't make immediate money. But this is the thing like, the best mechanics are the ones that have built a reputation for being fair and reliable. They're the ones that get booked out, that you, they're the ones that open additional locations that down the road it's like you have to wait 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, and people will do it because they know that they're not going to get screwed. And so my challenge is more like to someone, if they were to say that, I would be like, my thing was like, you don't actually care about impact. So stop saying you care about impact, say you care about money.
When people start talking about impact, I'm just like, okay, whatever,
Yeah, they
whatever.
just, it's bull. It's bull. Like, it's not, because if you did, you would, the way you functioned as a business owner would look very different.
Yeah, yeah. When people really like care about the thing they do, they just talk about that thing all the time, and they
That's
don't talk about
exactly
stuff like
right.
it. They don't talk about stuff like impact. When people care about making a lot of money and they're honest about it, that's cool too. They just say, "Hey, I want to build a really big business," and people can respect that because there's an inherent honesty in it. But
That's exactly right. Yeah.
and then the people who are just like those weird, obsessives who are like just talk about this thing like in the way that cannot even be off-putting to people because they're so obsessed with. But
Yeah.
those people do those are the ones who really actually genuinely care about impact. They just don't use that word. They're just trying to make their thing really freaking great.
Well, and that's why, like, so that's what, that's what it's really all about. It's not all about that, but it's like, if you believe in something so strongly, you're not trying to sell it more. You're trying to make it as good as you possibly can so that it just is irresistible. And I like, that's really what it is. Like, people, because word of mouth like travels fast with quality things.
Yes. I
And
mean, with
so,
everything.
exactly. And that's what happened with my course. Like, that's why it blew up, because people referred me. People would promote my program for me on places on social media. And that's like, and this is what I say that, like, I think the most overlooked lesson from Hormozy's $100 million offer was the fact that he sold a book for $1. Like, that's actually what was the most valuable part of that, because if he had sold that book for $10 or $20, it would not have popped off like it did, because it's not actually that good of, I mean, it's a good book, but it's not like that life changing. But the fact that he had something that was then priced at a no brainer price point, all of a sudden everyone was talking about it. You gotta, you know, you need to, all of those things. And that's like, it's so much easier to you don't even have to manufacture it. Just freaking build something that people would be that passionate about.
Well, easier said than done. You have to.
Sure.
It's in some ways this is lightning in a bottle, right? You
Yeah.
don't know what's going to work. You don't know what's going to take off with people. I mean, like the things I work on, it's like 7 out of 10 things generally don't do anything at all. And the stuff that tends to work well, you're often really quite surprised by. And
Yes. No,
and
that
and you,
so
it's hard to catch lightning in a bottle twice, right?
I hear that, and I think that my response or challenge to that is, it needs to be passion based. And so I think, like, for me, you have to do something for you because you like it. Because then that means you're detached from the outcome. It's all about, it's what you get out of it because you love it, because it's for you. And then the result of that can be exponential as it catches on. But I again, like I think I'm not anti this as a business perspective. There's definitely a place for it, but I think too many people are obsessed with trying to just figure out the thing that they can sell, not realizing that the people that sell the best are the ones that are passionate about it. Look at Elon Musk. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Look at Steve Jobs. Look at these people that are crazy successful. They built out of their passion and obsession.
So what is your obsession?
Yeah, I'm working on that. I just like I like talking, so that's why I'm trying to be a consultant. No, I love brainstorming. I love angles. I love thinking about ways to connect an idea with an idea with a message that resonates and lands with the audience. So I love that. I love thinking about the overall experience and like what I guess I like to think about business from a user perspective, not from a business perspective, is like so what I'm really passionate about. So um, if I can, you know, if I could figure out how to put some of these things into a course, I kind of already have been trying to because I do. I love that, but I love the figuring out connecting the dots. Really.
And
That's
so
what I
you're going
love
to launch
doing.
another course.
I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned. I don't know. I've got it's hard to synthesize some of that stuff because I feel like I'm getting now to, email marketing is really straightforward. It's like, do this thing. But now I'm like, okay, cool. Now, I had someone ask me the other day, I was chatting, and they were like, how do you come up with these angles? And I was like, I think about it as if I was completely ignorant. And I just ask myself, it's like I basically pretend that I'm seven and somebody's telling me something. And I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And I just ask a bunch of like who, what, when, where, why, how kind of questions as if I was completely ignorant. And when you do that, it makes it really easy to find unique ways to explain things. Like when you're explaining stuff to kids, you can't use big words. You can't be like, well, it was like a serendipitous opportunity. Like they don't know what that means.
This is really lucky. Really lucky. It's really lucky and great timing.
That's exactly it. That's exactly right. And you're like, it feels like it's lacking, but the thing is, it's only lacking from our perspective, not to the child's perspective, because they understand. And frequently, then they'll even start using that big word, even though you're like, you don't really know what that big word means. You think it just means lucky, but that's okay. They learn contextually and then they start using it. So, yeah, that there's opportunities, but I haven't quite figured out. I haven't figured out how do I teach that way of thinking yet.
The further along you go with marketing, and I've only been doing this like 5 years now, and everybody at this point that I sort of learn from or look up to has been doing this 15, 20 years at this point, a lot of
Yeah,
them.
of
Not
course.
everyone, but a lot of them.
Sure. Yeah.
It's that they get to a point where what they're doing, it's like it's not going to be easy to put it in a box. Like this, the reason why
Yeah.
things like email marketing or doing Facebook ads or whatever they sell well as like educational programs is it's simple. There's some nice clean boundaries on it. Is it a
Yep.
Facebook ad? Yes. Okay, then I'm going to do this. Is it not a Facebook ad? Okay, that's not part of what I have to learn here.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Fantastic. But when you get to the place of like, I was talking to one of my clients today who I've been doing some Facebook ads and said, hey, John, we've got this other thing and it's this bigger thing and we have this funnel and it kind of works and it kind of doesn't. And we'd like to do some other things with it and, go in a few different multiple directions. And how can we put all this together at a project? And I'm just like, this sounds really good, but could we talk about it again in 3 days when I have time to think about it? Because
Sure. Yeah.
if I try to give them an answer right there and then, I know there's like 100 different things that I'm gonna miss. There's so many different
Yeah.
parts to making something like that. And it's like, And I'm not going to be able to do it alone. So have to get off the call, have to think about what do I do, have to think about who can I go and ask for advice, have to think about who might potentially be somebody I need to work with on this project.
Yeah,
And that's even before I've even said, hey, how much it's going to cost, how long it's going to take, or sort of, had that conversation with them yet. It
yeah,
all gets very, very woolly after a while. And
yes.
so it then becomes harder to teach that stuff because it's harder to express it or to delineate it cleanly.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly right. And you have the context and the experience. Well, you have the experience that allows you to see the context and the different parts that are involved in a simple decision. It's not really actually simple. And maybe 5 years ago, you would have been like, yeah, it's this, just this, because that's all your experience would have allowed you to see. But now you're like, there's a lot of factors actually that are in play here, and we need to sit down and like adequately consider all of them before we just arbitrarily decide something.
Yes. Yeah, it's I don't know if I probably can't tell the joke now, but you know in The Sopranos where Tony's sitting with his uncle and he's telling the joke about the two bulls,
Oh,
the
you
old bull and the
shared that
young
on my
bull.
post. You shared that on one of my posts recently. Yeah,
That's one of the best jokes ever. And it just because it's just so much wisdom in it, like what
yeah,
the, the old bull approach versus the young bull approach.
yeah. Run down there and land one. It's like, why don't we just take our time and land them all?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah,
And it's funny because even there's plenty of old bulls out there who haven't gotten away from that young bull thinking.
yeah. No, I agree. Anyway, there you go.
Okay, well, we've hit the 1 hour on the clock, so time to
Yep,
wrap this thing up.
yep. That sounds good. I think. Yeah, cool. Sweet. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I don't know if you have any closing things they want to say, but it's been good to.
Where do people find you, and who might want to work with you, and how
Cool.
would they go about
Yeah.
doing this?
Great. Yeah. Well, you can currently just primarily find me on Facebook right now, Brennan Hopkins, which I'm sure you will be linking. You'll be sharing this on Facebook anyway. So, and then yeah, I work with currently like more high ticket businesses, helping them make more sales. So scaling, and there are a few ways that we do that I can help them with that, and that's through acquisition with messaging. That's through improving their actual offer to make it more desirable, or creating additional offers that are needed to help build out a better ascension. And that's in retention, which is also the back end structure of the whole system to make sure that we keep people in the business longer, happily keep them there longer.
Fantastic. Brennan, thanks so much for doing this and spending some time with me tonight, and talk to you again soon.
Yeah. All right, mate. Sounds good. Catch you later.